show of hands of how many people have tried to communicate something to their spouse or coworker, to their friends, or even their kids, and just didn't really, the message wasn't received. Everybody, right? We live in an age today where our communication methods are growing at a rapid pace. Email and text have become prevalent. I remember a year and a half ago, roughly, Karen Riley gave a rant about people didn't use a doggone phone anymore for communication. It was all done through email. And why today, she's now a texter. So she has evolved with the times. Now, part of the evolution of communication is that we need to be able to present something in a way that people can receive it. I recently read a book called Pitch Anything by Warren Clapp. And he explains kind of a new method for how this is done. And it's tied in with science. The scientists have studied the brain and have discovered there are different parts of it and how everything is tied together. And he gives 3 parts of the brain. He says you have a croc brain, or the crocodile brain, which is the Neanderthal brain. And this part of the brain is concerned with your survival. Make sure that you stay alive. If somebody comes up and starts yelling at you, it makes the decision of whether you need to fight it or you need to run from it. The next part of the brain is called the midbrain, and it deals with the decision making that you have, the social situations that you're in and whatnot. And third and lastly is the neocortex. And your neocortex is responsible for your highly developed thoughts, your problem-solving capabilities, and your ideas that you have. Now, when I have a thought that's developed in my neocortex, and I give it to John Ruck, I tell John what my thought is. The old way of thinking is that John would receive that thought in his neocortex. But that's not the case. What happens is everything has to go through your croc brain to be filtered. And if you don't understand how to engage your croc brain, or engage the person you're talking to's croc brain, then he's not going to receive it. The croc brain is also responsible. It's commonly known as the gatekeeper by Warren. So it filters everything that is coming in, and it disregards quite a bit of it because it's kind of lazy. It's kind of like the old Neanderthal people where they're kind of lazy. They were kind of cavemanish. So if I'm saying something to John and I'm not engaging his croc brain, he's going to disregard about 90% of it. It's almost like me up here talking about insurance. It's boring as heck. So the question is, how do you do that? How do you engage the croc brain? That way people can understand you and be attentive to you. The way you do that is through stories. You have to tie your idea in with a story that you have. That way it engages a person and it makes them want to know more about what you're doing or about what your idea is. If, I'll use myself as an example. If I'm talking to an investor that wants to invest with a note or a mortgage that I have, I don't talk about deals. I don't talk about the mechanics of it. I don't talk about the numbers of it, because that stuff will lose somebody in a heartbeat. You talk about the story that's behind it. You talk about what you're going to do, how you're going to save somebody from a foreclosure, how you're going to keep somebody in their house. And once they're engaged, then they want to know more. It opens that door up. That's how we do it. That's how we need to evolve with the times, as Karen has, to be able to understand how to communicate better. And in this day and age, things are going at a faster pace than ever before. And with email and text, everything is becoming so impersonal. I feel that sometimes the communication is kind of a lost art, or it's something that people take for granted. In my corporate job, I used to work next to a guy that he'd always email me for lunch. Instead of just yelling something over the cubicle, hey, what do you want to do? He emails me. It's crazy. But we need to be able to communicate better, to be better in our lives, and have better relationships with our friends, our children, and whatnot. Thank you.